keep it 100 because it's time for Hub's Huddle Podcast. Listen to the man that talks sports from football to basketball 24/7, 365. He is known as the average Joe that knows more than average about sports.
What's up, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Hub.
What's up, everybody? It's Saturday night, May 11th, 2019. Mother's Day Eve. Man, we're going to talk some basketball today. We do got boxing on tonight. Jared Hurd returns to the ring. But most important, we got to talk about basketball tonight. There's been a lot of things going on in the world of the NBA. It's been a rough week, especially for us. I'm a Celtics fan. It's been a rough week. Celtics lose a series in Milwaukee 4-1. And it's been a lot of turmoil and rumors and people pointing the finger. Media's crushing Kyrie Irving. Fans crushing Kyrie Irving. Well, I'm here to defend the man. We're going to talk a little bit about this for a minute. We're also going to talk about the Lakers and their new head coach, Frank Vogel. Well, we know LeBron's the coach, but I'm going to save that for a minute. But back to Kyrie Irving, Boston Celtics. Listen, Marcus Smart, shout out to him for coming to, Kyrie's Irving back, calling, that Kyrie ruined the team, he killed the team. Marcus Smart said it's all a bunch of BS. Basically nobody knows what Kyrie's thinking. Only Kyrie knows. And he was saying basically that, he came into a situation where the team was already made and it was already a contending team. And, he basically was just trying to fit in, and maybe he just didn't know how to fit in. I look at, what he said, and then I look at the stuff that was said during the season with Kyrie about the younger guys and, how him trying to be a leader. And, yeah, some of the things that he said, I do, I think he could have said it a little differently, towards the younger guys. But also in the same aspect, the younger guys should have a little bit more tougher skin, but I understand this is the new age of the NBA, and a lot of these guys are a little bit more softer than, what they used to be back in the day. But, I mean, it just is what it is, man. He could have said, he could have voiced what he was saying a little bit differently. He did call LeBron middle of the season, basically to apologize because he understood, now trying to be a leader, what LeBron was going through with him back there in Cleveland, and the stuff that he was experiencing, what LeBron was experiencing, he's experiencing it now with the younger guys, with the Tatums and the Roziers and the Browns. And speaking of Terry Rozier, he had some choice words at the end of the game the other night, game, was it 5, up there in Milwaukee. And basically, a lot of explicit, words, but bottom line is this, is that, he's not going to be back. The way he was talking, he's definitely not going to be back. He talking about how he sacrificed the most and this and that. And then when you read some of the stuff that comes out when it says anonymous player said that, basically like Kyrie, he's all about him, and, basically like he it's a me first atmosphere. We starting to put it together because we see what Rozier said at the end, that it probably was Terry Rozier. And then basically he had the most to lose out of this whole situation. Because if you remember last year in the playoffs, he was the starting, point guard. And, once Kyrie came back, hey, man, you got to go back to the bench. Tatum and Brown, they both, was hurt. Their minutes was hurt. I'm not saying they were hurt physically, but their minutes was hurt because, you had Gordon Hayward coming back. So it was a lot that these young guys had to, pull back and adjust to because, last year in the playoffs, these guys was all starters. These guys was putting in work. As we all know, Jason Tatum went off last year in the playoffs. That was basically like his coming out party. And, this year is more like he hit like a sophomore slump, as you could say. It could be because of the decrease in the minutes. It could be he played out of position because he was playing some power forward. He's naturally a small forward. Brown's a small forward, but then you got Gordon Hayward as a small forward. So, they had to try to make it work. As far as, Terry Rozier go, his minutes got cut significantly because Kyrie Irving's, he is the point guard of his team. And to be honest with you, Rozier said he's one of the best point guards in the league, and during his rant, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, he's not a top point guard in the league. You know what Terry Rozier remind me of? Reggie Jackson. That's what he's Reggie Jackson 2.0. He played reckless last year in the playoffs. Yeah, he had some, the scary Terry thing was cool. Everybody was with it. I was with it. And, but this year when he got in the games and you seen his minutes and what he was doing in the game, he was jacking up shots just to be jacking up shots. Like, yeah, I'm trying to prove everybody, I should be the starter. Instead of focusing on playing team basketball, which he didn't. It's a guy by the name of John Havlicek, rest in peace. He passed away a few weeks ago, or a week ago rather. But it's the guy like that who rode the bench in Boston, who did it for the better of the team. These are the guys that embody the spirit of a Boston Celtic. Like this stuff here with Rozier, he didn't play his role. Even though, you might feel like you should be starting, your mindset should have been on, okay, but I'm going to sit back here and do what's best for the team. I will take care of my issues if I want to start at the end of the year because I'll be a free agent. But he didn't. And it showed during the games with his play, especially during the playoffs. You got to watch him. He got in the game and he just started jacking it up. And it's like, okay, dude. And then back to Kyrie Irving, which he's getting all the blame. My thing is this, man. He wants to be the leader of the team. Yeah, you're going to get the blame. But Boston played poor in this series as a team. It was poor coaching. The blame should be getting passed around all the way around. And I'm in like a Boston Celtics group, and I had posted the other day, I said, y'all are blaming Kyrie Irving, but nobody bats an eye at Gordon Hayward. And the response I got from that was, because Gordon Hayward, just like Paul George, he had a gruesome injury and he's just getting back from his injury. Then that's when I had to pause because I'm like, listen, I know my stuff. So I'm going to tell you what's up. We can't say, because of Paul George, because when Paul George came back after his injury, Paul George, the season after his injury, when he came back, 27.2 points per game, 8.1 rebounds per game, 4.4 assists, 1.6 steals, 45.9% field goal percentage, 45.5% 3-point percentage. His free throw percentage was 85%. He had a 26.19 player efficiency rating and a plus 7.7 plus minus. So, compare that to whatever Gordon Hayward did for you. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's only been maybe about a handful of games this season that Gordon Hayward scored 20 points and only one game in the playoffs where Gordon Hayward scored 20 points. Now, I'm not bashing Gordon Hayward at all, but my thing is this, is that, Boston Celtics fans, they need to look at Gordon Hayward as well. He's getting paid all that money, but you guys want to give him an excuse, but you want to put on the blame at Kyrie. You don't want to point no blame at Brad Stevens for not adjusting to anything that Milwaukee was doing during the whole series. It seemed like Chris Middleton and the dude, I forgot his name, number 24, the cat that went to Notre Dame. These dudes was not missing behind the 3-point line the whole series. I think I seen Chris Middleton miss maybe about like 5 or 6 times. And I remember in the last game, I was like, wow, he finally missed. These dudes was on fire. And it was no type of, adjustment. I was telling people before, I was like, listen, the same problems that I had when Boston played, the LeBron James, Cleveland Cavaliers, I sat back and said, look, I'd rather see LeBron get 80 points. Same thing with Giannis. I'd rather see him get 80 points if the rest of his team only gets 10 and Boston scores 100. I'm cool with that. I don't want to see you guys trying to double up, Giannis when he gets in the paint. Let that man go. Let him go. Because when you double, he sees the open man, he kicking it out. Middleton for 3, bang. The dude from Notre Dame. I had to find his name. I'm sorry, guys. In the corner for 3, bang. You know, and that right there killed us. You know, George Hill, 3, bang. I'm like, come on, man. We was getting killed from behind the 3. We was getting killed on the boards. We got embarrassed. You know, I mean, come on now. But what people fail to realize, man, is that, you know, Danny Ainge is going to offer Kyrie Irving the moon and the sun for him to stay. And I know a lot of people, they want to see, you know, Kyrie Irving going. You got Stephen A. Smith talking about 95% chance that, you know, Kyrie Irving going to be in New York with Kevin Durant, which I think is just a bunch of, you know, smoke. Same thing with Brian Windhurst talking about, you know, he's had discussions with the Lakers already about rejoining LeBron. I think it's a bunch of smoke too. Because, you know, I'm going to tell you what I honestly think. And it's not just me being a homer and a fan of Boston. It's just me just thinking about it in a, you know, way of a logical way here. I think Kyrie Irving stays. And the fact is not because, yeah, I'm a Boston Celtics fan. I'm just going to put it like this. If Kyrie Irving goes to New York, Kyrie Irving got to deal with Boston 4 times, Philadelphia 4 times, and you got Brooklyn Nets who starting to become, you know, a good team. You know, these dudes in the playoffs, you know, ain't nothing but sky's limit, especially when, you know, when LeVert is 100%, they're going to be an even better team. I don't think he was 100% in the playoffs this year, but he still was putting in work. So, you know, we looking at that. That's going to be a tough task. You know, no matter who you got, you know, and besides, when, Kyrie Irving wanted to go to New York, and at that time when he was still in Cleveland, when he asked for the trade, he wanted to play with Kristaps Porzingis. Porzingis isn't there anymore. So now everybody's thinking, oh, it's going to be him and Kevin Durant going up to the New York, you know, the big market, New York, you know. And then some people will say, oh, well, he's coming to Brooklyn. You already got D'Angelo Russell. What you going to do about that? You already got LeVert. So you can't say, oh, well, Kyrie and D'Angelo Russell can go ahead and start. What you going to do about LeVert? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you going to trade D'Angelo Russell, who started to come on, who became a all-star, you know, this season. I mean, this is what you want to do. So you got to think about it. You got to really think about it. And then you got the Los Angeles Lakers over here. You got the Lakers. If he wanted to get away from LeBron and become his own man, become his own leader, why would he go back to LeBron? Let's be rational. I don't care who posts what. I don't care if one of his homeboys posted that picture of LeBron and Kyrie both in Lakers jerseys. It's like this is what he wants. You know what I mean? So, you know, we don't know what Kyrie Irving thinking. He might end up leaving Boston and going somewhere. But my thing is, like, if you have a fan base, you have a lot of people, media, they're putting the blame on this season on you. And you came into this talking about you want to be a leader. You want to prove that you can lead. You want, you know, you want to bring championships. You know, you want to be the guy. You want to be the man. This is your biggest opportunity to do so because you can re-sign with Boston. They can give you the most money out of all the max deals because you already played for them. So they can give you, I think, $49 million more than what you would make anywhere else. That's number one. But the most important thing, we're not going to talk about the money. We're going to talk about the most important thing is the leadership. If he owns up to this and comes back and say, listen, we can rewrite the ship. I can prove to everybody, you know, I am the man that I said that I am. And we're going to do this thing the right way. And the thing I was telling other Boston fans was like, you know, Kyrie Irving is the centerpiece of getting more stars to come to Boston. These key free agents that's out there now, your Kawhi Leonards, your Kevin Durant, you know, in the possible trade for like an Anthony Davis, your Klay Thompsons. I'm just using for example. I'm just saying. None of these dudes is going to come to Boston to come play with Jaylen Brown and a young Jason Tatum who had a slump of a season. You know, and play with a Gordon Hayward where you don't know what you're going to get. Is he going to go back to being, Utah Gordon Hayward, or he going to be this Gordon Hayward that we got now, shell of himself because of the injury? Yeah, unfortunately, the injury, yes. He's coming back from it. But he makes too much money, right there, sitting there with this contract. Like, yo. So you got to think about it. Even a couple years ago when Danny Ainge brought out Tom Brady, Isaiah Thomas, they always there in the meeting for Kevin Durant for him to sign to Boston. He didn't. And I told people back then, I was like, because Isaiah Thomas is not a big enough star for that. And, Kevin Durant wants to go to a short spot where he going to want to win. That's why he went to Golden State. Everybody got mad at that. But as you can see now, based on last night, the Warriors put out, the Rockets, and it seemed like the old days, like the Splash Brothers was back. You seen Clay get off finally because now you don't have Kevin Durant there that's taking up the shots along with Steph. And you got Steph who, he slumped in the first half. But in the second half, he came alive, 33 points, and basically put the seal on the deal. So, with Kevin Durant, out of him and Clay, I think Kevin Durant's going to be the one that's going to leave Golden State. And who knows? If things could fall right in the basketball gods and Danny Ainge do all his snaking and what he does, just maybe Kevin Durant might make his way to Boston to play with Kyrie Irving. Or maybe Boston trade up the young pieces in a Jason Tatum and a Jaylen Brown for Anthony Davis. Give up. I think they got a couple first round picks this coming draft. They could trade all that to bring in Anthony Davis. And, an Anthony Davis trade would be similar to like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar going from Milwaukee to Los Angeles. That's how monumental that will be if they still keep Kyrie Irving in the fold in Boston. That's the kind of, game-changing trade that could be. And like I said, I'm not just saying it because, I'm a fan. Yeah, of course I want to see it happen. I'm a Boston Celtics fan. But as a thinker, with Kyrie, that's just me thinking in general. It'd be the same if Kyrie was a Laker and, things didn't work out and Kyrie got a chance to opt out of his contract and everybody blamed the season on Kyrie. I would be saying the same thing, like, he got to stay in LA because he got to rewrite the wrong. If you out here saying that you're a leader, you have to rewrite it. You got to rewrite the ship. You got to make everything better. You got to prove to the doubters that, y'all saying I'm not a leader. I am a leader. This is my team. This is my house. And there was only one game this season where I seen Kyrie Irving become animated, and that was that game against the Raptors at home. That was when he held up his jersey and he was going to the crowd and he was talking. That was the first time I seen him being like really animated. And I looked at him and I said, you know what? If we get that Kyrie Irving, hey, the sky's the limit for Boston. But like I said, I think Kyrie Irving stays. If he goes, he goes. I wouldn't be surprised, but but my mind is telling me he stays. My heart even says that he stays. And that's not just me just being a fan, of Boston. It's just me just like thinking about it like, if you taking all these lumps during this whole offseason, like he hasn't said anything. He didn't do no exit interview, no nothing, because he didn't want to address none of the stuff. When they asked him about that at the end of the game, he just deflected it and wanted to be like, listen, like, I'm just trying to, see what's next. Like, don't want to give no clues on nothing, but you got every single, all these outlets, your Stephen A's and your Brian Windhorst. They're all out here, talking. And wasn't Brian Windhorst, didn't he get, like, his job at ESPN? One of them jokers got a job at ESPN for following LeBron. I know it was Chris Broussard, who's over at FS1, but I think Brian Windhorst was one of them dudes, too. I think, like, when he was in Miami or something, he became, like, a name, like, somebody known for ESPN. So, of course, yeah, you're going to have all the inside scoop on what you want to see for LeBron because that's how you got your livelihood, bruh. But whether it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's not, man. But, you can't believe, what these analysts say, because they only say stuff to get us, riled up as a fan base, of all these different teams and also the fan of basketball to say, oh, man, what if he go out there? What if he come here? Just like they saying, like LeBron had a conversation in Philly with Kawhi Leonard during this series here, which the Sixers and the Raptors are going to close out the series tomorrow night. But who to say that right there was true? They saying Kawhi going to go to L.A. Some people saying Jimmy Butler going to go to L.A. So it's like you really don't know. But let's like I said, I think Kyrie Irving stays. Spoke my piece on that topic. Let's move on to Los Angeles Lakers. Well, LeBron James got himself a new assistant head coach in Frank Vogel. I'm sorry. The Los Angeles Lakers hired Frank Vogel as their new head coach. Apparently, Jason Kidd has also been added to the staff as a top assistant coach, which, hey, man, I mean, that's a good thing. I think, Jason Kidd could help out with Lonzo Ball, being that he came into the league with no jump shot. Jason Kidd, he developed it. But I think far as a point guard, that'd be good for Lonzo Ball. He could learn from Jason Kidd. I can get his game better. Frank Vogel, I'm not sure, man. I'm like, I mean, he got put out by LeBron in the playoffs when LeBron was in Miami and they was like Indiana. Like, I didn't think he was a good coach, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he had the Pacers team, Roy Hibbert and Paul George and all those guys, and George Hill, and he had those guys, but I don't know. I mean, my thing is, man, I think it's another like pushover coach for LeBron to get over on him. They had like Tyronn Lue there, and he felt insulted by the deal because they only want to give him a deal that was like 3 years, basically like the length of LeBron's contract. So once LeBron was done, you're basically done too. And Lou was like, listen, like, I want to be here after LeBron. Like, don't just give me like a 3-year contract when all these other coaches are getting, a 5-year deal. So what's up with that? But also, people, wondering how come, and I'm wondering the same thing, but I kind of know, why like Mark Jackson wasn't offered, a contract. I don't think he's one of those I'm gonna let you walk all over me type of dude. So, I think that'd be real difficult. I think him and LeBron probably would clash if things wasn't going too hot in LA. Kind of like like when Luke Walton was there, and all due respect to Luke Walton, but you could tell at certain times it was like LeBron's in the huddle and he's like saying what's going on. Luke Walton just sitting there just listening. I'm like, that, bro. Now we really know who the real coach over it. And it's been kind of like that throughout, LeBron's career with, the coaches out there and what's it called? Where is he? Cleveland and Miami. It's been like that. But I think, Mark Jackson should have got a look at one of these teams that just hired a new coach, and he hasn't. I don't know why. I mean, if you want to be real with it, Mark Jackson is, possibly like the guy that put together that Golden State Warriors team that you see with Steph and Clay. You know what I mean? So, a lot of that, man, hey, it is what it is, man. It's like we're going to see the next chapter in the Lakers. Frank Vogel, he has playoff experience. But like I said, I don't think, I mean, it might work. You never know. It just seems what else they're going to put around in L.A. and what kind of talent's going to come to L.A. Maybe you will see Kawhi out there or Jimmy Butler or maybe even Kyrie Irving. You never know. But maybe they make a trade, bring in an Anthony Davis, something like that. Who knows, man? But the Lakers got a new coach, and we'll see. We'll see what happens next with them. Tomorrow we got 2 Game 7s going on. First at 3:30, we got Denver Nuggets taking on the Portland Trail Blazers. I think I'm gonna roll with Denver on that one. I like Dame Dollar a whole lot, and I know it's gonna be it's gonna be a good game tomorrow. I think it's gonna be very close. It might even go into overtime. I think these dudes, both of these teams, this has been the best series throughout this whole semifinals round here. Between all these teams, of course, Bucks squash Boston. Golden State took care of the Rockets last night. Where I don't know, man. Rockets, man. They, man, James Harden shouldn't be MVP. It's gonna be honest. We know that, man. But back to this game. You know, it's gonna be a it's gonna be a good game tomorrow. Then, the big game, which is tomorrow night, that's what I'm looking forward to the most, is Toronto versus Philly up in Toronto. It's gonna come, like, I can see either team winning. And my thing is, for Philly, if they play the same way they played the other night when they came out, on fire, moving the ball around efficiently, and going up and down, and if Embiid can play with the same energy that he played in the other game, then yeah, it shouldn't be no problem. Jimmy Butler is going to be on. I can just guarantee you that he's been on pretty much the whole playoffs. It's going to be up to Embiid and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons going to have to attack the way he was attacking the other night as well when they played in Philly. They play with a lot of desperation. And like I told somebody, I said, I thought we were going to get put out. I mean, that was that Rocky Balboa, Philadelphia pride. We're going to do this thing in front of the home crowd. As soon as they seen, lame Lane Johnson come out there with his dog mask on, and, you got Chris Long, that's my homie. And he had his, they had the dog mask and all that stuff. You had a feeling like, here we go again. They come out here with these little dog masks on, and they think they're underdogs and all this stuff. They're underdogs at home, of course. Because they basically look like you was lifeless when you played your last game in Toronto. That's why you was a huge underdog at home, of course. And you're an underdog again tomorrow because they don't know if you're going to turn it off when you get to Toronto or you're going to keep it on. That's the basic. You can't just say, oh, everybody's against us. No. It's based on how you play. That's the problem with that whole fan base as a whole, from basketball to football to hockey to baseball. These dudes, they always think, hey, everybody's against us. No, people just don't like you because y'all a bunch of nuts, to be quite honest. But that's another rant for another show. But but as far as Toronto, go back on topic, man. But as far as Toronto go, if Kawhi gets help, it has to be Kyle Lowry has to step up. He has to continue to step up. Siakam has to be there as well. And also you gotta look for like Ibaka off of, coming in as well, coming in with energy and playing well. Guys like Danny Green, you gotta get Van Pelt going, coming off the bench. That's gonna be important. Even though, the bench play might not see as much time tomorrow, because it is a game 7, it's crucial. So, like, the starters probably going to get 40 minutes apiece, probably, depending on who you are. So I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be a good game, for that night game, and it's going to be a lot of back and forth. I really don't want to give a pick because I could see it going either way, and I'm like, I could see Philly winning and then playing Milwaukee next series, and of course I got Milwaukee going to the finals. And I could see Toronto winning, and going to go play Milwaukee winning and beating Toronto. But as far as this game tomorrow night, it's going to be a good game. It's hard. I'm just going to just say, man, it's hard to pick Philly because I don't know what Embiid you're going to get and what Ben Simmons you're going to get. I know Jimmy Butler going to be there. They're going to need help from a JJ Redick. They're going to need him. He going to have to find his shot somewhere or another. But just looking at it, since it's on their home floor, got to go with the Raptors. Everybody's thinking it's going to be like 2001 when they played Vince Carter and, in that, what was it, the conference? The semifinals, and he missed the shot 'cause he graduated the same day. He played in the game, and he missed the shot. I think that game was in Philly, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. I'm a roll with Toronto. I think Kawhi gonna go off, and if Toronto does lose, Kawhi's not staying in Toronto. I'm sorry. You've seen it through the whole playoffs. Well, through this round, and most importantly in this round, is that in most of these games, the games that they lost, it was Kawhi versus the Sixers. The games that they won, he had help. But when they lose, it's just Kawhi. Kawhi 37 points. Where's Kyle Lowry? I used to think it was, I used to blame DeMar DeRozan for the Raptors, always, choking in the playoffs. But after seeing this year and just watching Kyle Lowry, I'm like, yo, it's him. Like, he got to be better. Like, come on, dude. Like, if they lose, even if they lose next round, I think Kawhi's going. I don't think he's going to stand in Toronto. I think he's going to go out west. I think I can't say that fits his personality, but I think, out west is going to be where it's at. Whether it be Clippers, whether it be Lakers, it might even be the Clippers, to be honest with you guys. They got a good team over there. And then they got a great head coach in Doc Rivers. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see him or Jimmy Butler go out there to go play with the Clippers. That'll be awesome for both of them. I think, if the Sixers lose tomorrow, I think Jimmy Butler's going to be gone. I mean, but the most important thing for Philly is that they got Simmons and Embiid over there, so they still got a nucleus. Ben Simmons, he has to work on a jump shot some way, somehow, however. He need to enlist some help during the offseason, whenever that may be. He need to go find Kobe. So he can find Kobe. Kobe have him shooting all day. But, and Embiid, he has, I think he look like sometimes like he's playing hurt, or maybe he's just, out of shape. He just got to get better. So, I mean, that's something for those guys as well. But like I said, I can see Philly winning tomorrow. I can see Toronto winning tomorrow. Just for the sake of them being at home, I picked Toronto. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. As far as, the first game that's coming on tomorrow, I'm picking, Denver. I think they're a better team than what, Portland is. So, coming to, it's going to be Denver versus Golden State. That's going to be a good series. We don't know what the status is of Kevin Durant. I know he was out he was out last night with his calf strain. But it also showed that, Steph and Clay, can still get it together and take it there if they need to be. I still got the Warriors winning the championship this year. I don't see Milwaukee beating them. I don't see Philadelphia beating them, and I don't see Toronto beating them if they get there. So I still see Golden State winning the NBA championship this year. But that's it. So it's going to be very interesting. Tomorrow going to be very interesting. The conference final is going to be very interesting to see who gets in, who's going to be playing who. The final is going to be interesting, as always is, must-see TV. But, as far as me, hey, I'm looking forward to everything. I'm just going to kick back and watch everything as a fan of the game since I don't have a dog in the fight no more. My Celtics are home. We're grilling. We're having a party. We're waiting on either Philadelphia or Toronto to come home so they can join us on the couch. But that's it for me tonight, guys. Make sure you check out that Jared Hurd fight. I think they're getting ready to fight now, I do believe. I'm very tuned into it. Fox PPBC. Jared Hurd pretty good. But thank you all for joining, man. Thank you all for listening. If you're new to the show, man, welcome aboard. This is what we do. This is how I do things, man. I'm going to talk sports and give you my perspective of things and, how I see things shaking out. If you can, please share this with your friends, your family, even people you don't like. Tell them to check out my podcast. I'm everywhere, man. iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean. You could basically just Google Hubs Huddle Podcast in Google, and open up Google, type in Hubs Huddle Podcast, and it'll show up. If you're on Instagram, man, follow me at Hubs Huddle. Twitter's Hubs Huddle, and on Facebook, same thing, Hubs Huddle. Like the page, give me a comment, talk to me. I'm active on all three of them, so I'm always checking comments and talking to people. But until next time, y'all be cool, be safe. To all the ladies that's listening, if you're a mother, happy Mother's Day. And, have a blessed day tomorrow. And, you guys, my homies, be cool. Make sure you treat your mother or your lady that's a mother or your grandmother, however you want to do it. Make sure you treat them something special, man. Do something nice, man. Remember, it's Mother's Day, not Mother's Night. So you guys are cool to watch the game tomorrow night. Tomorrow night at 7. You might miss that 3:30 game, but you'll be back home by 7, to catch that. Just tell them, you got work in the morning. That's all. It'd be cool. But most people just do brunch anyway. I don't know what I got on deck tomorrow. My lady ain't figure out what she wanted to do. So it is what it is, man. So until next time, y'all, it's your boy Hub, and I'm out. Peace.